So to make this process easier, I want you to imagine a kid who's been eating cornflakes his whole life, but realizes that frosted flakes are the best thing in the world. So he goes actually to the cornflakes factory and he decides, you know what, I'm going to trick this machine. I'm going to insert some information into this factory machine to actually tell the factory to, rather than produce cornflakes, let's actually make frosted flakes. So let's add some sugar to it and a bunch of corn syrup, right? So what he does, he puts that information into the system, he begins putting it through the factory, and then all of a sudden, instead of cornflakes coming out, we've got frosted flakes coming out the wazoo like crazy. And all the factory workers are like, what the heck is going on? Hey, that's viral infection, y'all. So what's happening here? Well, eventually what's going to happen is we're going to have this HIV virus. It could be any virus. This is just one particular one. And it's got some information inside of it on how to build more HIV. So I want you to remember that the mature HIV RNA contains the information on how to build more HIV. The problem is by itself, the HIV cannot replicate itself. In fact, in order to replicate, it needs to get inside a human cell right here and actually use what we have called ribosomes. And these are going to be those protein-making factories. So it can take RNA and turn them into proteins. Okay, so once again, here's the virus, here's the human cell. Specifically, this is going to be called a CD4 lymphocyte. This is actually a helper T cell in your body. It's a white blood cell, and that's going to be the target of HIV infection. But again, we've got to get the information from HIV into the human cell and then actually produce the proteins needed to build the HIV. Now, I say proteins a lot in this video. What are the proteins? Well, we've got an antigen protein here that's going to act as the key into a lock. We've got proteases. This is an enzyme. It's going to do something later on. We've got reverse transcriptases. These are all just proteins that the HIV virus needs in order to build itself. But again, it needs to do that by getting the information into the factory, therefore making its own proteins from the human ribosome. So that's the big overarching goal. Now, as we go through this process, it's pretty complex, but I'll make it simple. I want you to start thinking, what could actually block or inhibit this process? Because we're going to talk about some drug classes later on that can actually block certain sequences of events in this viral entry process and replication so that we can actually diminish the effect of HIV. So let's get started. First off, anytime something wants to get into the cell, it needs a key. Think of the cell as basically your house, right? You need to put a key into the lock of the house in order to open it up. So what we've got here is the antigen, basically the ID tag of the HIV molecule. That is going to fit perfectly, annoyingly, into a protein of your lymphocyte, your white blood cell. This is called a CD4 protein, okay? CD4 protein. Attached to the CD4 protein is something called the CCR5 protein. This is actually a G protein coupled receptor. Doesn't matter. It's one of the membrane proteins very common in your cells. Now, when the HIV actually attaches, I'm just going to draw it attaching here. Okay, so here's the virus attaching to it. What it will do is actually stimulate this CCR5 receptor. It'll stimulate it. Okay. Now, think of this stimulation as basically opening the door, okay? So think of stimulate as it is opening the door, because this is actually going to induce what's called endocytosis, bringing in the virus into that cell, okay? So what we're gonna do here, well, we activated CCR5, we're opening the door, we're allowing the virus in. So now all of the viral components are going to basically integrate into this cell. It's through a variety of processes. It's going to have some involution going on here, and I'm just going to draw all this going in. Okay, so we've got several different components of the virus now in the human cell. Now, let's go through one each and individually. So first off, what do we have here? Well, we have the viral mRNA, right? So here's that mRNA. Now, where do you think we want this to go? Well, you would probably say, oh, well, can't it just go right into the ribosome? And can't it just immediately make viral proteins? It could, but this virus is really sneaky. It wants to have a long-term solution to the problem rather than just making a few proteins. We're actually going to integrate its nucleic acid into the human cell's DNA. So again, this is your cell, your human cell. This is the DNA of the human cell. And so this is where the virus gets really, really tricky. It is going to use something called DNA reverse transcriptase. That's going to basically take this viral mRNA and it's going to turn it into viral DNA. So we're going to draw viral DNA here. Okay. So this is viral DNA. How did that happen? We had that enzyme, that reverse transcriptase. Draw it here. I'm just going to write RT. And it's going to trigger RNA turning into viral DNA. Now, why are we doing that? Well, it's because now, check this out. This is like the kid who had the instructions for the machine to put it into the cornflakes factory. We're going to then move that viral DNA through nuclear pores. It's small enough to fit through. And it's going to get into the nucleus. Now, it is in the nucleus now, but it's not actually embedded in the very code of the cell's DNA. So what are we going to do? Well, we're going to take this integrase enzyme. So remember, some of the integrase enzymes are going to come in here as well. Okay, so integrase is coming in here. And if you think of the word integrase, you're integrating something, you're inserting something into it. What's going to happen here? Well, that integrase enzyme, along with the viral DNA, is going to insert itself into the actual strand of DNA. So I'm going to show this kind of like this. So we're inserting the viral DNA into the actual code of the human genome. This is really, really tricky. So now we've got viral DNA integrated into the lymphocyte's DNA. Isn't that just so wicked? Because now that's going to remain there. That's going to stay in this lymphocyte's DNA virtually for the remainder of its lifespan. Why is that so sneaky of the HIV? Well, now what will happen is in the human, we're going to use an enzyme. Okay, I'll just draw it as a circle. This is called an RNA polymerase enzyme, which basically takes DNA and turns it into RNA. So DNA to RNA. It doesn't matter what DNA it is, as long as it's DNA, it's going to read it. So what are we going to do? Well, this RNA polymerase is going to read viral DNA. That is going to create viral mRNA that will code for all the viral proteins. Okay, so now what will happen? Well, that viral mRNA, I'm talking too fast, is going to get out. It's going to go to that ribosome, right? It is going to read that viral mRNA, and it is now going to produce all of the proteins necessary to build the virus. So now we've got those reverse transcriptases. We've got actually immature, I'm going to draw this like this, immature viral RNA. Talk about that in a second. We're also going to make our integrase enzymes. We're going to make some antigens and some membrane stuff, but I'm not going to mention that. So what have we done? Integrated DNA from HIV, made their proteins through that process, and now what's going to start happening? Well, you could probably guess, all of this is going to come together, right? It's going to come together in a little kind of vesicle-like structure. It's going to fill itself up, and then it's going to propagate. It's actually going to propel out of the cell, and now we have our virus with the antigens, with all the proteins inside of it, and also that immature RNA. So I'm just going to draw some of them. Okay. So, long process, but I'm going to show you what happens next. Last thing. We had that immature viral RNA, right? So this is immature still. Well, in order to mature the virus, what has to happen is actually this triangle that I haven't even mentioned yet, this protease. The protease is going to actually stimulate the conversion of immature to mature RNA for that HIV. So I'm going to draw an arrow here, okay, and I'm going to draw the protease, and it's going to mature the RNA. So finally, we have a fully formed, mature HIV virus with the mature RNA, with the integrases, with the new proteases, with the reverse transcriptases, and now that virus can go on and infect more cells. Isn't that crazy? Okay? Now, why did I preface this whole thing with what could inhibit this process? Well, you saw several steps that occurred in order to make a new HIV virus, right? What could we block potentially? Well, let me give you a few if you couldn't think of them yourselves. The first thing we could do is we could actually block this CCR5, right? So there is a medication called a CCR5 antagonist. What is that going to do? Well, obviously, CCR5 kind of kick-started this process of actually getting the virus into the cell. If we block that process, so we cut this process off, we now don't let the virus get into the cell, right? That's awesome. So that is one medication we can use. Another one we could use is something called a post-attachment inhibitor. Post-attachment inhibitor or antagonist, you might hear either one. Now, what is this? Well, once that HIV virus attached, we know that that CCR5 protein activated and helped this process of getting the virus in. This is just another way to block this same process, okay? It inhibits a specific G protein inside the cell. I won't go into the details of it. But you see what I mean, right? If we target a certain process of the virus getting in, we can basically eliminate viral entry. Amazing. But let's say that the virus does get in. These medications don't work properly. What else could we block here? Well, we know that that viral mRNA had to turn into viral DNA, right? So what we could use is a it's actually DNA reverse transcriptase inhibitor, DRTI. I'll write that out, DNA reverse transcriptase inhibitor. Okay, what does that obviously do? Well, it's going to inhibit reverse transcriptase. So now this is going to block this process. So we can't go from RNA to DNA, therefore DNA can't get into the human genome. So that is another way we could block this virus's propagation. Another one, check it out. Let's say we have all of this happening. We got the viral RNA coming out here, but then we also had integrases, right? Integrating the DNA into the human DNA, right? So we could also use things called integrase inhibitors. Integrase inhibitors. Okay? So what that will do is block this process of getting viral DNA into the human DNA. So that can also work as a block. Last one, and there are others, but I'm just mentioning 5 of the main ones, is a protease inhibitor. So I'm going to write protease inhibitor here. As I mentioned earlier, the protease helps to mature the immature RNA of the virus to mature RNA of the virus. So therefore, if we block this process, we can't mature. Even though the virus got in, inserted DNA, all this stuff, we can now block itself from maturing, right? So that can also block HIV's kind of replication process because you can't have a mature virus, okay? That is why when you treat something like HIV or other viruses, you are targeting some aspect of its entry and propagation. And that's also why they call a HIV drug a cocktail, because you actually take a variety of different ones to help suppress this virus's